everyone, what's going on? I'm Yakini with ADHD Love. This is another ADHD Love quick tip. Today I want to build off of Sunday's video. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you click up there. I talked to Kathy, who is a professional coach. She really specializes in those with ADHD. And we really got into the conversation about negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is something that comes up all the time in our community, right? Because we who have ADHD tend to really feel things on an extra level. When we do something wrong or when we are frustrated at ourselves, we tend to really take those emotions in. And we really get angry at ourselves sometimes, right? Well, today I really want to talk about this from the children's perspective. We really talked about from the kind of overall, mostly adult perspective, and some of those tips that she talked about you can also use for children. But today I really want to dig in to the children's side of things and talk about some tips to help them work through a negative self-talk moment. It is so important for us to start as early as possible to really teach them these techniques. Why? Because as they get older, they will learn how to deal with frustrating situations. And the last thing they want to do is be an adult, not learning how to, or have never learned how to self-soothe or work through things that anger them and things that they just, feel like they failed at. The last thing you want to do is be an adult doing that, because as an adult, when we beat ourselves up, it is a whole nother level. Right? So if we can teach our children how to work through those situations, that will be like gold. So the first thing I want to say is, if your child is coming through or going through a negative self-talk situation, the first thing you want to do is empathize with them, right? You want to empathize with them and you want to acknowledge those feelings. You don't want to ignore them. It is very important, as I say in, any video when I talk about our feelings, that we have to embrace them, and we need to teach our children to embrace those feelings so we can work through them. If you do not embrace them and you just let them sit, you are going to either implode or you're going to explode, and you do not want to have that. You do not want that to happen with your children. So the first thing is, like I said, empathize with them, acknowledge those feelings, and as frustrating as it can be for you, because you know your children are great. You know that they are smart. You know that they are loving. You know all of this. But in that moment, they don't feel that way. So just acknowledging it and empathizing what they're going through, where they are, is going to help start the process. Okay. The next thing is that I have my children talk about the situation out loud, right? We literally will start talking about what transpired, so I can understand how to take the conversation or what direction to take the conversation. The other reason why I do that is because after we have, or as we are talking through it, I will also repeat in the conversation as kindly as possible. So you think you were stupid, or you think that you talked about how you hated yourself. So these are the things that caused you to feel this way. Is that correct? And what's interesting is when I start saying those things, even though I said it as kindly as possible, when I start saying, so you decided that you hate yourself for that, or you feel like you're stupid for saying this, all of a sudden it starts to click, like, wait a minute, somebody else is saying that. I don't think I agree with that necessarily. I mean, I literally have had my children tell me, no, that's not exactly what I meant. I'm not stupid, right? It was almost like I'm the one that said it and I'm just repeating what they said. But starting to talk about the situation out loud, repeating what they said, and just bringing it all together, it really starts to allow them to process and realize, yes, I am frustrated and I'm angry, but I'm not stupid for this. And I don't hate myself for this, right? So that allows us to go through the next step. So the other piece is I have them look at the incident through their eyes, but in a, how do I say this, in a different mode. So for example, the day before, if they've had a fantastic day, they got some ice cream, they went to a birthday party, they just had a fantastic day at school, whatever it may be, I have them talk through it with me. And I say, so let's just take a moment and let's just talk about what happened yesterday. Tell me all the great things that happened to you yesterday. And I'll start off the conversation just to kind of get them, rolling, because remember, they're still kind of cringing and they're angry about what's going on. But as we're starting those first couple steps, I'm hoping to start breaking the situation down and moving them in the right direction. So I add on this piece where I say, okay, tell me about what happened yesterday. What were some of the fun things that you did? And then they will tell me all these fun things that they did and the cool experiences that they had. And then I said, okay, now, as that person, how would you explain the situation to me and how would you feel about it? And I've literally had my children say, I am so frustrated at myself. I wish I didn't make that decision. I wish I didn't say that mean thing to my friend. I wish I didn't yell at the teacher. I wish I didn't get in trouble, but I don't feel stupid for it. And I'm just really mad at myself. I just wish I did things differently. And so getting them into a different mindset really helps them through this particular situation and really helps them to see what they did and themselves in a different light. Okay. So the next thing is that, if the timing is right, and only if the timing is right, I will try to make them chuckle a little bit, right? And you have to really read the room. I wouldn't do this if it is a situation that takes a little bit more work. But if the timing is just right, and like I said, I've gone through these steps and I can see they're starting to lighten up a little bit, I will make them just laugh a little bit, right? And all of a sudden you can just see, them change over into like this smile or this smirk. And I know, again, we are moving the right way. Now, the reason why I'm doing all of these things is because I want to have the conversation and I want them to process this situation, and I want to have the conversation as we are going through these steps. And then once we get to the final step, we can really talk through what happened. We can really find out the truth about how they felt. And then we can talk about what could they do differently, right? Or how can they express their anger at themselves, or not express any anger at themselves, but you're going to be sometimes frustrated. How can you deal with that emotion differently? Okay. So yes, when the timing is right, I try to just make them just laugh a little bit so then I can go through the next step. And the bottom line is I always make sure that my place is a safe haven for them. I don't know how they're going to walk through that door. With ADHD, especially with my children, it literally could be on the extremes, the opposite extremes, right? One day they could be coming in, jumping and joyous, and they're just laughing and giggling. And then the next day they could be throwing their stuff down and just angry and frustrated, right? You just never know. And that's why I make sure my place is a safe place. So even if they're extremely excited, I bring them down to a calm energy so I can celebrate and just be with them and be joyous with them. When they're in an angry energy, I make sure that they are in a safe place so I can help them bring down the frustration and the anger whatever they are feeling, I want them to be back at a calm, balanced place. And again, as I said, with all those steps, it is so we can talk through the situation, learn from the situation, figure out how we can deal with the particular incident differently, and then how they can react to the incident differently. So I hope that makes sense. That's just some tips, and those are only a few things that I do. Really depends on what's going on. It depends on the day. Some things I repeat, some things I do a little bit differently. It's just I just flow with my children just so I can really help them move through those emotions. And again, it is so important for them to learn this when they're young, because these are tools that they're going to be able to use when they get older. And the earlier you learn it, the better off you are when you're older, because I've seen people get into a lot of trouble because they did not know how to self-soothe, and just mean things have come out of their mouths, to people that, whether it be to their bosses or good friends or partners, I mean, whatever it may be, since they've never really learned how to deal with those emotions, it really became a very negative experience as they got older. So it's really important for us to teach our children as young as possible to help work through those situations, not avoid them, work through those emotions, own those emotions, but work through them. Okay, so I hope that helps. And if you like this content or content like this, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell, because every time a video comes out, you will be notified. And if you like this video, definitely hit the like button. And please, please tell me some of the things that you do to help your children when they are going through a frustrating moment where they are talking about themselves negatively. How do you help them manage or work through those emotions? I would love to hear your thoughts. All right. Have a wonderful and beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon. All right. Take care.